We're not even in the Trump administration yet, and we already know what his foreign policy agenda is. But we knew before. It literally is whatever Vladimir Putin tells him to do. It was a little more difficult for him to do it when he was president the first time, but he did it anyway. I think we were all in such shock, and Merrick Garland, for some inexplicable reason, would not prosecute. So that is either because he was in denial, because we were still just, how could an American president do this? It was so blatantly treason, Trump giving away secrets in the Oval Office when he was confiscating the notes of the translator, all of these things, when we know that he had a conversation with Vladimir Putin right before he went out across the street with a Black Lives Matter protest, and he held the Bible up upside down. He wanted to be able to shoot protesters, our own people. Our own people. He wanted to shoot them. They used the smoke bombs and the tear gas, I believe, and all of that sort of thing. Right before that, he was on the phone with Vladimir Putin, who said, "You have to dominate the streets." This is who he listens to. This is who he listens to. We know that those stolen documents at Mar-a-Lago were not just for nostalgic reasons. I think it's fairly clear, and I think we all simply accept the fact, even though it is terribly painful, that he gave those secrets, sold those secrets to Vladimir Putin and anybody else, the highest bidder. We know that his former DNI, Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coats, as I've mentioned several times, later told Bob Woodward that he thinks Vladimir Putin was blackmailing Trump. And he was alarmed. He was alarmed when, shortly after getting off the phone with Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump, as president, asked for the names, the identities of all of our spies around the world, our top spies. It wasn't that long after that that the CIA put out a missive to all their outposts around the country saying that something has gone wrong. We have an inordinate number of our spies, our contacts, our informants disappearing, being tortured, killed, being exposed. It's not too hard to connect the dots. We know that Nancy Pelosi, in a very spirited moment at the White House, stood up, the whole cabinet, wagged her finger at Donald Trump and said, "Everything with you is about Putin." Of course, we know that she refused to impeach Trump over the obstruction of justice in the Mueller report. And at that time, it was fairly clear that he was very much in bed with Putin. So we also know that Hillary Clinton, when she was running for president, very openly and on the debate stage called Trump a Putin puppet. She warned us. She knew. And so I want to read you something. This was Alan Rosenblatt really summarized it. I believe this was on Twitter, Blue Sky. Actually, this was Sharon Willicombe. This is one of these things that was written and passed along by a few people. But the points are that, Trump has been talking about buying or annexing Greenland and Panama and Canada. He just wants to take them over the way that Putin took over Ukraine, Crimea. So he says that Greenland has a major military facility to assist NATO in protecting Europe from foreign aggression, like Ukraine, and Poland next in Putin's sights. So if we take Greenland and he does Putin's will, this makes it easier for Putin to take Ukraine and Poland, anything else he wants. Panama has sanctions against Russian vessels traveling through the canal, and Putin wants those sanctions lifted. Also, they're after Trump for some taxes that he's evaded. So we're just going to take over the Panama Canal. Canada has territorial rights in Arctic oil gas reserves and the maritime routes, and Putin wants those rights demolished. So who is Trump really working for? He's not even sworn into office yet. Who is he really working for? I think it's clear. He's working for Vladimir Putin. We've known this. We've known this. And the thing is, rank and file MAGA are idiots, and they'll believe whatever they're told. They've been co-opted. They are idiots. And yes, I'm talking about the relatives that you have to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with. I'm talking about neighbors. I'm talking about the morons with the MAGA Trump flags and signs, on their trucks and at their front yard and sticking out of their trailers. They are The unwashed masses, uneducated, which is why Trump said he loves the poorly educated. And this isn't a slam, this is just the truth. As a strategy, and with the help of Vladimir Putin, Trump knew who to go for. He knew who to target as his audience and to get his support, because it certainly wasn't going to be smart people who care about this country and care about democracy. The flip side of that would have been oligarchs, CEOs, people who will get the big tax breaks, the big tax cuts, or pay no taxes. People who will get a cut under the table, they give Trump a cut. So he gives them all these goodies. Like right now, a lot of the CEOs are going to kiss the ring at Mar-a-Lago and grease the palms because they know that the immigration, the mass portation that Trump has planned, and the tariffs and a few other things will hurt them very badly. And so they want these exemptions that he's handing out to people. And you get these exemptions by basically paying up, mobster style. Grease the palms. You give Donald Trump money or his inauguration fund or whatever other fund he wants you to give to, and you'll get one of those exemptions. Oh, all for the greater good. Now, the unwashed masses, the idiots, the ones that attend his rallies, the wear the MAGA hats, they buy all this. They refuse to think that he could hurt him. Well, he's already hurting them. He's already said the grocery prices will go higher. Yeah, the tariffs and mass deportations will do that. But also, the Walmart CEO is just going to raise prices for the heck of it because they can. That's it. It's greed. A lot of prices did go up, and there was inflation after the pandemic, a pandemic that was preventable, or at least could have been contained, and wasn't because of Trump. And so a lot of these corporations use that as the excuse to raise their prices. And now with Trump saying, you know, he ran on lowering grocery prices, he's not lowering grocery prices. So they're all taking this as an opportunity to raise prices on us. On us. We've got Elon Musk out there claiming that we have to tear this economy down. It'll hurt a lot for a while, but in order to build it back up, we have one of the strongest economies in the history of this country, the Biden economy. One of the lowest unemployment rates in history. The stock market doing great. Biden and Harris taking measures to help individuals as they little by little fixed inflation. That's all out the window. So the economy will be torn down for no other reason than it's a payoff for Putin and Trump and the oligarchs. And we will be the ones who suffer. And only those idiots will believe it when Trump tries to blame the left or Biden. But they're starting to stock up on things, as I've talked about before. They're thinking, oh, we better get our groceries, you know, that sort of thing. But they're the ones that did this because they are stupid. They just are. And again, I'm not even saying that out of anger or to piss them off or as a slur, but it is how we got here. A big reason. Putin, the oligarchs, Trump, they couldn't do what they're doing without the unwashed MAGA masses as their vehicle, their tool. Like Fox News plays to those people. I mean, Fox News isn't news. The smart people know that, which is why smart people don't watch it. And then you've got the establishment folks in Washington, people who are my former colleagues and friends and allies. They know what Trump is. They've always known what Trump is, but they're thinking, well, this is the life I chose. This is my job. And they have to maintain their positions as a cog in the wheel. They want to keep their columns, their TV gigs, their lobbying gigs. They still want to be a part of things in Washington. So they're pretending that Trump is just like any other Republican presidents, you know, just a little more colorful as they take their jobs in the administration or in surrounding support areas of this administration coming up. I mean, I have individual names, people I used to know and respect who I never thought would do this. And they're like, hey, you get your shot at being, you know, one of the top communications and press people in administration in White House, you're going to take it because, hey, why not? And that's how it happens, little by little. Trump and Putin know how to grease palms and buy people off. People who could be your biggest critics, you send them some business, right? Or you give their wife or their husband a job in the administration that they would never be qualified for in any other administrations, aren't qualified for now. You buy them off. You give them ambassadorships. You put people in positions that you know are crooks because you know they'll be crooks and they'll give you their cut. Um, all of our tax dollars, by the way, while we suffer. We no longer will have a middle class. That's how this works. That's how this works. But make no mistake about it. Donald Trump is working for Vladimir Putin, and he has been for a very long time. And Ukraine is in immediate danger. We're in immediate danger. And I don't have the answer, but I do know that if we're honest with ourselves and we keep talking about it and we keep a sharp eye on this stuff, we will one day find a way to fight him. It might be small incremental ways in the beginning, but I don't watch cable news anymore. But I have made sure that I haven't checked out of actual news. They gave us Trump and they have people on who are not experts just because I don't know if they're interesting personalities or whatever. There's some people on MSNBC who are excellent, but then they mix it up with other people who have no business on TV, giving us political analysis or legal analysis or telling us, what Democrats need to do to win. So you don't know who to trust when it becomes a crapshoot. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I do know that it is happening. And I think that it's important that we understand why Trump is making these noises all of a sudden about Greenland and Panama Canal and Canada. It is for Putin. There are strategic interests for Putin and Elon Musk in some cases. And of course, in Panama, that tax issue for Trump. None of this is for us. None of this is about we the people. It is about Vladimir Putin. That is terrifying. This shouldn't come as news. It's just more dots to connect. Only who can do anything about it? Our media is not going to. They're normalizing Trump. Normalizing him and his thugs. I'm not going to do that. I hope none of us do. So I'm here on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll get others to subscribe because I'm going to keep talking about this stuff. And I also like it when you guys send me information or suggestions on some things that you'd like me to look into and talk about so we can kind of expand it and make sure that people are getting the right information. A lot of people are checked out of cable news. MSNBC really blew it with Mika and Joe, really blew it, and lost a lot of credibility. So there are people like me out here, independent sources, who break it down, try and crystallize this stuff. So again, if you see something and you think that I can help amplify it, something that you think needs to be discussed, kind of picked apart and put out there, you let me know. You let me know and we'll do it. Because when I look at what's going to be happening and what already is happening and how blatant this agenda is of Trump's, the foreign policy agenda, literally talking about taking over other countries, just annexing them, going in by force even if need be. And it is all for Putin.